All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the New Look Environment and Transportation Committee. I think you all know me by this point, but I'm Mark Corman, the new chair, and of course, Regina Boyce is our wonderful new vice chair. Welcome back. It was a great interim, both with official committee work. We had a bunch of site visits. We had some good briefings, and then also personally getting a chance to meet with you, except one, I'll get you, Barry, meet with you all individually in your districts and hear about what's concerning you and what you want this committee to be working on and this house to be working on. So we look forward to pursuing that. We have a lot of work ahead of us. If you looked at the pre-files, there are 68 pre-files assigned to this committee, the most of any House committee. And that makes sense because we're the most important of any House committee. So it's good that we have the most pre-files. Last year we had 350 bills. I'm betting this year we'll have closer to 400. So we got a lot to do. And to help us do that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our great committee staff. A lot of veterans here. This is a very long-serving staff, but returning as assistant to the chair, for which I'm grateful, is Trish, who you all know. This is Trish's 10th session with the committee and her 17th in the General Assembly. Our committee secretary is new to the committee, Rebecca Stryer. It's her first session with the committee. For her fourth of the General Assembly, she worked in the Majority Leader's office and the Montgomery County delegation. We have a returning committee clerk, Rose Love. This is Rose's 5th session with the committee and 10th in the General Assembly. So welcome back, Rose. We do have the occasional new member of the team. Our committee clerk helping us out this morning is Jacob Barrett. This is his first session with the committee. And I don't know if she's back. Oh, she's here. Our welcoming face at the front desk, Peyton Logemont, is with us. And this is her first session with the committee. And of course, we have some great committee counsel immediately to my left, Kristen Flynn. This is her 19th session with the committee. And I know that sounds like a lot, but next to her is Patrick, or a few down is Patrick Tracy. And it says 21st with the committee, but is that right? 23rd, yeah, 23rd. And then Ben Voigt is our 3rd counsel, and this is his first session with the committee, but 5th with the General Assembly. So another veteran voice with us. And you all have a handout that shows some things, including their subject matter expertise, although I think everybody in this room probably knows who to go to. We are supported and protected this year by our state trooper, Matt Mitchell. Thank you, Trooper Mitchell. My chief of staff is Joseph Swit. I don't know if he's here yet, but Patrick O'Leary is our sort of liaison with the Speaker's office, who might be joining us later this morning. You don't have to applaud for him in his absence, but he does work for the Speaker's office if you want to think about your applause. All right. And let me turn it over to our vice chair to introduce her team.
Thank you so much. Good morning to the best committee in the House. Yes, honored to be here and honored to serve continually with you. This is the only committee that I've been on since I've been elected, and it's the only committee I want to be on. And honored to serve with Chair Corman here. My staffer is Leslie Gray DeVivo in the back here. She keeps me straight on time. And when we talk about who the real boss is, she's the boss lady. So whatever you need from me, you can get from her. If she can't do it, then it just can't be done. So, Mr. Chair.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. So we are going to go through the subcommittee chairs, but it hasn't really changed. So you all know, obviously, our vice chair remains our Natural Resources, Agriculture, and Open Space subcommittee chair. Delegate Stewart is staying on as our Land Use and Ethics Subcommittee Chair. The Speaker Pro Tem, Dana Stein, is staying on as our Environmental Subcommittee Chair. And of course, congratulations once again, Mr. Speaker Pro Tem. Yeah. Delegate Love, who cannot be here today, is chairing the Transportation Subcommittee. And of course, we have Delegate Healy continuing on as our Local Government and Bi-County Agencies Subcommittee. So thank you all for continuing in those roles.
One more. Housing.
And I'm sorry, Marvin Holmes, I jumped right over you, our long-serving Housing and Real Property Subcommittee Chair. Marvin, how long have you been chairing that subcommittee?
Oh, decade maybe.
Decade. All right. Well, thank you especially for continuing on. You're begging for a lecture by saying land rents instead of ground rents, Delegate Otto. When I looked at the former chair's old scripts, this is where he talked about the new members on the committee. And so, hello, I'm the new member on the committee. But other than that, no changes, and the subcommittee membership is all remaining the same for the moment as well, and you have that in your handout. I'll just briefly talk about our sort of briefing and hearing schedule. A lot of this is the same. First of all, we're in the process of scheduling the sort of normal early session battery of briefings these first couple weeks here on different subject matter that the vice chair and I heard from you all that you were interested in. And so we'll look forward to getting more announcements about that out soon. And then, as I said, we have a lot of pre-files, so we'll be rolling right into bill hearings. The hearings remain with the hybrid option, and we just encourage you and your staff to sort of check the schedule daily, and of course, listen for announcements on the House floor. We do like to start on time. As you all know, the speaker starts on time, and so we try to follow her example. So please try to be here promptly. Because they're hybrid, we have the in-person hearings with the virtual option for those who can only testify that way. We have the complex witness sign-up system where you have to sign up 2 business days before the hearing, and guidelines are available on the website. And of course, Trish can continue to navigate you and your panels and everybody through that process. The only change in sort of the bill hearing format is bill sponsors will not be timed. So bill sponsors will have the opportunity to make their case. I would just encourage you to sponsor responsibly, and not abuse that point. When the committee is on pause, historically, the video would just show the seal of the committee. It will now show a wide shot of the committee. So just keep that in mind, that you will be seen on camera when you're walking around while we're streaming, but not actually having a hearing. So just keep in mind, members of the public will be able to see you walking around or dancing or doing whatever you were doing. So please be aware of that. The other item I want to mention is that this committee has a well-earned reputation for rigorous examination of bills and a lot of really good and important questions designed to elicit information and teach us things we didn't know. And we want to keep doing that. But we also want to be respectful of people's time. And we want to remember that the bill hearing is the start of the process for a bill. We have subcommittee work sessions, we have subcommittee voting sessions, we have full committee voting sessions, and then maybe some debate on the floor, though hopefully not too much. So just keep that in mind when you're questioning all the folks who join us, that we have lots of opportunities to work on these bills, and we just want to be respectful of everyone's time and presence here. On the subcommittees, those will continue to be done virtually, and that's because of the Department of Legislative Services building and the reconstruction going on there. So hopefully next year we'll be able to get those back to in person. But for this year, the subcommittee meetings will remain virtual. And if your staff needs any training on how to deal with the Zoom accounts, Trish can help navigate that as well. And it'll be the same general schedule you all are used to in terms of when those subcommittees will be meeting. Obviously, as we get sort of further along here, it becomes a little bit more ad hoc. So again, please listen for the subcommittee chair announcements on the floor and check the schedule regularly, and make sure your staff is checking your email. Voting for the committee will occur in person on a as needed basis, as scheduled. Again, we'll announce those on the floor. Try to do things by voice vote if possible, but we'll do roll calls as we need to, or as people want to, if they think it's important to have a roll call on that vote. I would just encourage you, when we are voting in committee, please pay attention. We don't want to have to revote. We don't want a bunch of changing votes. I know things can move pretty quick, but so, ask me to slow down if that's what's needed, so we can get everybody's vote recorded the right way, so you can tell folks back home, that you voted the way they wanted you to, or the way they didn't want you to, whatever your particular passion is for dealing with your constituents. And we hope to have those voting lists to you available the day before voting sessions, but as you know, that changes a little bit as things go on, and it gets a little bit more ad hoc. We of course will have our rigorous debates on the floor, but I do want to remind you all that you're members of this committee. You get a lot of opportunity in this committee to work on these bills, and so I hope you'll be respectful of the committee and the floor leaders on the bill when you get to the floor. And on the note of floor leaders, generally speaking, the subcommittee chairs will determine what bills in their subcommittees are brought to the floor by whom. They can pick their floor leaders. And so just keep an ear out for those opportunities. The snack and beverage fund, I finally got to something important.
Yes.
We're asking for a voluntary $60 contribution for members this year and a voluntary $25 contribution for staff. That's if you're going to partake in the food and drinks in the kitchen in the back. If you're not planning to partake, obviously not asking you for a voluntary contribution, but please see Trish. She can tell you many different ways to pay her: cash, check, Venmo, Zeller. I think she takes money orders at this point. So please communicate with Trish if you want to support the food and beverage fund. Trish has also scheduled a meeting with your staff for January 17th to go over a lot of this information and answer questions that they might have. Couple of other items. First of all, on your desks, you'll notice a little toy ET. I know my predecessor was really into Star Trek. I love Star Trek too, but I want to expand our science fiction horizons just a little bit. And I thought ET was quite fitting for this Environment and Transportation Committee. So enjoy that little welcome token. For those of you with kids or grandkids, my kids put a mural up back there that you're welcome to decorate when they come to visit. So I want to see Yvonne, I want to see Delegate Stewart, I want to see your kids in there decorating that as soon as possible. Delegate Naraki, I know you have young kids as well who can help us with that. So I want to make this a fun, welcoming place for everybody. I have an open door. If the door is closed, it's because I'm in a meeting, but otherwise, feel free to stop by, text, call. I want to be communicating with all of you. I want to know what your priorities are. I want to know what your bills are. I want to know what you think the committee should be doing differently, should be working on. So please, communicate very openly with me. I don't love surprises. So, feel free to just call me, text me, stop by. If you want to be like one of my constituents, hit me up on Twitter, whatever it is to make sure we're all communicating with each other. With that, let me turn it over to the vice chair for any additional comments you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Don't touch the button.
That's right. So yeah, rule number one, back in session, don't touch the button. I want to echo the chair's sentiments. My door is always open, or you can run after me in the hallway, or of course you can catch me on the floor. I have meetings today with a couple of you about your bills, and also want to be honest about your work. And I would say our work, especially as it relates to the product of this committee. So same thing, the door is shut. I promise I'm not passed out. Either I'm not there or I'm in a meeting. I'm going to try to take a lot of meetings, especially if they're larger meetings in the conference room versus my office if it's one or two individuals. But yes, if the door's open, please come in and let's talk. Sometimes we may not agree on certain things, but we will be agreeable. And I think I will speak, I think, for the chair as well. If it's something good, we want to make it great. If it's not so good, we have to figure it out. And if it's not this year, hopefully we can work something out. But we are here to work for everyone, especially, no matter what side of the party you're on, where you all have to bring home work for your constituents, and we want to make sure we do our best job to do that. And with that, I want to remind, I think it was probably as well as in the appropriations committee, but just remember about eating in the committee. I know it's a big thing. Making sure you take care of yourselves in between sessions, in between subcommittees, and in between committees, because the only person that can take care of you is you. So make sure you eat. Make sure you're caffeinated if you want caffeine. Make sure you drink a lot of water. But we need each and every one of you here. So please take care of yourselves. If not, I will know, and I will come and get you, because you're important to all of us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, here, and that goes to your staffs as well. So make sure they're taking care of themselves during the 90 days or the 89 days we have left. Are there any questions from the committee members? Delegate Lehman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome and congratulations to both of you and the vice chair. Do you plan to try to move as quickly as possible reintroductions that passed the full House last year?
Thanks for the question, Delegate Lehman. Yeah, I think we'll prioritize bills that we think we've already moved and that we think are going to be moving on the other side this time, and hopefully get some things prioritized and out the door, as promptly as possible once we start having hearings. So get those bills in. It's a good reminder. Get your bills in so we can get your hearing scheduled as promptly as possible. Is there something else? Anything else?
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Delegate Lehman. And I'm sure the first of many things I forgot. I'm supposed to remind you all that it takes 12 votes to advance a bill out of a committee, so a simple majority. And as I said, I think a lot of things we'll be able to do by voice vote, but we'll do roll calls as necessary. Other questions? Other comments? Delegate Holmes, I got to get used to looking at this thing here. I'm sorry, Delegate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Don't have any questions. I just want to do a couple of things. Number one, I wanted to introduce my staff. Chief of Staff MJ Sutton and Legislative Assistant Carol Malveaux back there. Secondly, Mr. Chair, you've already talked about meetings and discussion here in the committee. Want to make sure everyone is still aware of the second reader rule. If you are not familiar with the second reader rule, please let us know. We'll educate you on that. And third, Mr. Chair, thank you for allowing the official, unofficial seal of the state of Maryland to remain in the back of the room. For those of you who are not familiar with the official, unofficial seal of Maryland, you will notice that there are heads of two of our members on the official seal of the plowman and fisherman. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Delegate Holmes. Anybody else have announcements or questions? Great. Well, as I said, there'll be information coming out soon about our barrage of briefings and then following that bill hearing. So look forward to working with everybody. Welcome back. Let's have a great 2024 legislative session. Thanks, everybody. We're adjourned.